YouTube, what's good? This is just about to be real brief here. Well, maybe not so much. It's a little tutorial deal. Um, for all you Call of Duty fans, I'm a big Call of Duty fan. Um, I really hate bragging. I'm pretty good, but I have these spells that which I do really bad, and so that means I'm not real good. You know what I mean? I do good and I do bad. You know, blah blah blah. So anyway, but the fact that my best game was 43-1. That was my best game at the jungle on Black Ops, and I average about 30 kills a match. Team deathmatch, of course. I mean, free for all, you can only get 30, but you people know that. So what I kind of wanted to do was, you may go online, you may go on Google and type in tips on being better at Call of Duty. What I'm here to do is to give you a verbal, like tutorial on how to do that for all you people who don't like to read, including myself. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of go over a couple quick tips that'll help your game out. These are small things that'll help your game out substantially. Just to say, okay. So first of all, I gotta show you the sticks. That is a 6-axis PlayStation 3 controller. I do have the triggers, the extended triggers. I have these little felt things on the side because my hands get a little sweaty, when you're doing work. And you got the keyboard up here for talking shit, you dig? But I try not to talk shit, just people are assholes. So you gotta put them in their place. Anyway, so what I'm gonna just do real quick is just kind of go over a couple things that'll help your game out. First off, for all you people, well, first off, I could just get to the guns. Find a gun you like. This is a lot of this stuff is just painfully obvious. Find a gun that works for you. I like the AK-47 or the FAMAS, or FAMAS. I don't know how to pronounce it. FAMAS. You know what it looks like. It's the French assault rifle. I like those two, along with the dual wield revolvers, mainly because the FAMAS and AK-47 have a lot of power. The FAMAS has a little bit higher fire rate, which but it buzzes around a lot, so it's kind of hard to aim. AK-47 it has a lot of kickback, but it doesn't buzz like left to right. So if you can control the kickback, if you could kind of control where you're aiming, just stay in the same spot, it'll be perfect. You'll do fine. With the AK-47, that is. That's just me. I don't really like the Commando because it's a little too weak. Submachine guns, they're too weak. And I mean, if people say use a submachine gun on like Nuketown or firing range, you might not even want to do that. It's a smaller gun. Yeah, I mean, you can do that if it works for you. However, if you want the power, you can still get the same mobility with the FAMAS, actually. Equip it with your sleight of hand, maybe, your lightweight pro. Get the lightweight pro so you can dive and shit and not get hurt. Last stand, get better at last stand. I promise you it'll help you, but we'll get that in a second. So just find a gun that works for you. Once you find a gun that works for you, use that gun all the time. Don't try to switch and change to get all these cool points and stuff like that. Just find the gun that works for you and stick with that gun until you get comfortable enough with the game itself. Then you can move on. Okay, moving on from that, you got the guns. Figure out what kind of player you are. I hate campers, but if you're a camper, that's just the way you play. I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, don't be a camper, because everybody's different. A camper is just somebody who camps out and just lets people run by. And we'll get into that in a second. You're either a camper, you're a rush player. A rush player is a person that runs around the map, killing everybody they see. Of course, not on their own team. Just shooting blindly at everybody. They get killed, they respawn, they're back out. That's a rush player. And then you have the tactical player. I'm kind of a mix between rush and tactical. Tactical is the kind of person that kind of crouches a lot, sneaks around the corner, bangs, shoots a couple guys. Those are the kind of guys that get the crazy kill streaks, like the the dogs, the chopper gunnery, the dogs, the hind, all that crap, those kind of guys. And that's really good for your kill to death ratio. But if you're not worrying about that, then you'd be a rush player. It doesn't really matter. Whatever your preference is. So yeah, figure out what kind of player you are. Once you figure out what kind of player you are, stick with that. Don't try to go on YouTube and watch a bunch of other people play and copy them. Because if you're copying them, that's not you. And if it's not you, then you're not going to be good at doing somebody else. It's just like, it's just like you can't bark like a dog because you're not a dog. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. Figure out what kind of player you are. Once you do that, once you figure out what kind of player you are, then you may kind of figure out your way around. Get used to the maps. Getting used to the maps is really important because you know where everybody is at. It sounds stupid. It's like, oh, why would I want to get used to the map? I don't feel like taking that much time to memorize this shit. Really not mad. It's just more like muscle memory. I mean, you get used to it. It's like if you play Grand Theft Auto, you know where everything is at by like the fifth month you've been playing it. It just happens. But get used to the maps because you know where everybody is at. You know where people lay claymores. That's a big one. Do not just figure out where people lay claymores, but just figure out the map. You'll figure out where people mostly hide at, where the teams like just stash out at. You figure out, you'll know how to maneuver around certain corners and how the maps themselves work out. So yeah, get used to the maps. I can extend on that a little bit and talk about the differences between a smaller map, medium-sized map, and a large map, which this is again painfully obvious. If you're in a smaller map, don't too much worry about silencing your weapon, or don't too much worry about being too stealthy, because you're gonna die anyway. It's a small map. Like Nuketown is a perfect example. A medium-sized map like WMD or what's the other one I'm thinking of? Havana, or Villa or Villa, however you want to pronounce it. You can be pretty tactical in those because they're small enough for you to find people with you sneaking around, but they're big enough to conceal you. You know what I mean? So those are like WMD and the Villa, Villa. I don't know how to pronounce it. That's where I get a lot of my kill streaks at. Is because I can be tactical, but at the same time I can kind of rush a little bit. And then the large maps. I would kind of try to stay under the radar as much as possible. Get a silenced weapon, maybe. If you're a camper, you'd snipe, of course, but whatever. But if you're trying to be out there, get a silenced weapon. So if you're shooting somebody and you miss, they can't turn around and know where you're at because they're mini radar. So try to get a silenced weapon if you can. If not, it's cool. But just be cautious on a bigger map. Always know your surroundings. That's where learning the maps comes in hand. Let me see. So you got your guns, you got your swagger, you got your knowledge about the maps. Next is just kind of polishing up a little bit. I can get into the analytics a little bit later, but next is once you figure out the maps, just let your instincts take over. Don't think too much about it. What I do a lot is I just think a lot too much about, oh, should I be aiming this way? No, just play. The less you think, the better you'll play. It's almost like that with anything. The less you think about it and let your human nature take over, it'll just work for you. Some small analytical things that I've started doing that helps me out a lot is don't run around the map like an idiot. Don't just, for the rush players, this is a little bit different for y'all, but like even then, don't run out in the open in circles. There's two different sides to that. First of all, don't get in the open. If you're out in the open, somebody's gonna see you. They're gonna shoot you up. It's only common sense. If you're out where everybody else can see you, then they're obviously gonna shoot you. It only makes sense. I can't emphasize that enough. And another thing, don't sprint so much. Lay off the R3, or if you're an Xbox player,